You wouldn't be wrong if you said Michael Olise was one of the hottest properties in Europe right now, with Chelsea, Manchester United, and some of the biggest clubs in Europe in a heated race for his signature. It's probably a good time to talk about Olise and his strange lifestyle at Selhurst Park. Michael Olise was born on 12 December 2001 in Hammersmith, London, to a Nigerian father, Vincent Olise, and a mother with French-Algerian roots. This gave him the rare privilege of being eligible to represent 4 countries at the international level: Nigeria, France, Algeria, and England. Michael grew up alongside his younger brother, Richard Olise, who also followed a similar career trajectory. Both parents were instrumental in shaping Olise's career early on. At 6 years old, his father enrolled him in a local grassroots team, Hayes FC, as he looked to live his footballing dreams through his son. The following year, Olise would begin his youth career at Arsenal before leaving for crosstown rivals Chelsea shortly after. He would then spend the next 7 years at Stamford Bridge. But having found himself in a club stacked with talented players all over the place, Olise was released by Chelsea in 2016. Turns out, it was going to be one of the club's biggest mistakes. A brief spell in Man City's setup followed that Chelsea exit before Olise made a move to Reading in 2018. Now 16 years old, Olise was one of 12 teenagers inducted into Reading's academy on a 2-year scholarship, and he made the most of it. By 2019, Olise has now made his first-team debut in the championship, signed a 3-year professional contract with the club, and received a France Under-18 call-up. 2 years down the line, he was named the EFL Young Player of the Year and now had a release clause set at almost £10 million. Crystal Palace made a quick move for the footballer in July 2021, with Olise becoming Patrick Vieira's first signing at Crystal Palace. And let's just say the rest is history. Olise has developed into one of the most exciting players in the Premier League and has chosen to continue his development at Selhurst Park. A healthy 26 Premier League appearances in his first season with Palace was followed by a staggering 37 league appearances in his second season, a season where he also became the first Crystal Palace player to register 10 assists in a single Premier League season. Fast forward to the 2023 and 2024 season, and what do we find? A 22-year-old left-footed midfielder running the show for Crystal Palace. In April 2023, during a match between Crystal Palace and Leeds United, Olise became the youngest player to assist 3 goals from open play in a single Premier League match. Injuries might have reduced his appearances to just 19 league appearances in the 2023 and 24 season, but that didn't stop Olise from having the best season of his life. Olise scored 10 goals and assisted a further 6 this season, and it got many pundits talking about his qualities. Olise is known for his ability to play quick passes to open up defenses. His first touch is exceptional, and his agility helps him with quick turns, good acceleration, and change of pace. When operating from the right, we often see him looking to cut inside and whip crosses to teammates. Olise is also disciplined in possession, despite having one of the most overall dribbles this season. For a player still relatively early in his development, Michael Olise has impressed everyone with his tactical versatility in the midfield. Oh, and by the way, his performances for Crystal Palace already earned him a new 4-year contract in the summer of 2023. But with Didier Deschamps not including Olise in his squad for the Euro 2024, the footballer's international future is still up in the air and with a lot of speculation. He could represent France, Nigeria, England, or Algeria, as he is yet to make his senior debut. Switching gears, let's go down to a more personal level with the footballer. Truth be told, we don't see too much of his personal life, and he keeps it away from social media. Olise was described as a laid-back child who hardly spoke to anyone, but only loved to play street football. There remains that air of mystery around the Crystal Palace midfielder. We can't say for sure if he's in a relationship, and for the same reason, we don't know much about some of the other personal things that he has going on for him. So we've got to respect his privacy. His family is very much involved in his career though, with Olise's mother playing a key role in Crystal Palace signing the winger. Olise's introverted nature has also been reflected in his style of play and goal celebrations. And don't even get me started on some of his post-match interviews. A man of few words, Olise is always brief with his responses and comments. He prefers to do his talking on the pitch. This extremely reserved personality, or what some may call a taciturn nature, only adds another layer of mystery to the footballer. He is so private that you would be even hard-pressed to know what he enjoys doing in his free time. No photos of vacation with friends and family, no reels of enjoying the nightlife like many other footballers. However, we know Olise to have great taste in fashion, and based off his handsome looks, we know that style is something he doesn't joke with. When it comes to his properties, we don't know too much about where the winger stays in South London just because of how introverted a person he is. However, we've seen glimpses of what his taste might be like when it comes to cars. Olise prefers spacious vehicles. He might be a fan of the space bus, judging from the photos of the interior of the cars that we've seen him in. But just how much does Olise earn at Crystal Palace at the moment? The midfielder earns £100,000 a week at Crystal Palace, which translates to £5.2 million a year. Olise's Palace contract runs until 2027, but he has a release clause thought to be in the region of £60 million. Judging from his current and past earnings, coupled with other sources of income, we reckon Olise's net worth to be above the $20 million mark. But despite his brilliance on and off the pitch, there has been some controversy surrounding Olise's future. Olise's agent has been handed a ban, which is delayed until October because of an illegal transfer clause that was inserted into his Reading contract. There has been an increasing likelihood of Olise's inevitable departure, so there is already an acceptance at Selhurst Park that a sale is likely. Chelsea has made contact with Crystal Palace repeatedly as they look to activate the winger's release clause, but Olise is also understood to have interest from Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Newcastle. However, Chelsea might face some difficulty now because of suggestions that the clause is higher for clubs not in the Champions League. Some fans think that moving to North London might not be the best choice for Olise because of the presence of Bukayo Saka, who occupies a similar role. With Saka's role being prominent in the club, there are questions about Olise's potential playing time at the Emirates. There is a possibility that he doesn't get regular first-team football. Meanwhile, here's how Olise's season stacks up to Bukayo Saka's season. On the other hand, with the departure of their manager Mauricio Pochettino, Chelsea's transfer plans remain clouded in mystery. However, Olise might find better opportunities at Stamford Bridge as the club has shown a clear interest in getting his signature. Also, many fans think that he could be a good fit, slotting alongside Noni Madueke as a strong option on the right wing. One of the biggest questions asked by many fans is whether Michael Olise is related to former Nigerian footballer Sunday Olise. Well, the answer is no. Although they share near similar surnames and are both from the same area in South Nigeria, they are not related. But if there's anything that Michael Olise's career has taught us so far, it is that being rejected as a youngster does not have a lasting impact on one's career. Looking back at Olise's trajectory so far, it is likely to see that once you build that mental strength and resilience as a footballer, there's no telling how far you can go. Being let go by a couple of clubs at an early age was perhaps what Olise needed to discover the talent in himself. What are your thoughts about Michael Olise as a footballer, and what club would you rather see him at?